All right, then let's take a look at how the markets are certainly looking. It has been a bit of a mixed one of late, and one of the big key issues has certainly been stimulus measures out of the United States, the increased number of COVID-19 cases globally, and of course the hindrance to things like travel, tourism, all of that certainly playing its part as well. We are seeing some stocks that unfortunately try to counter that impact, and it hasn't necessarily been good, particularly today with a bit of a red tinge across most of the global indices. Then we start off in Asia, where it's just red across the board. Then 2.5% down for the Hang Seng out in Hong Kong, the biggest loser today, unfortunately, taking a bit of a hit there as well. Following suit are some of the other counters then, Shanghai Composite in China, as well as the Nikkei as well. The FTSE 100 is down 1.1% and is the biggest loser out in Europe as well today, so a big fall there, unfortunately, going down today. The DAX out in Germany also 0.9% weaker, so some weakness coming through across that board, with also the CAC 40 out in France taking a bit of a slip today, 21 points lost on that front. All of that has also filtered into the negative sentiment we're seeing on the local index. We're down around 0.25%, sitting at 62,640 points. We even touched 65,000 points a little bit earlier this week, so certainly very interesting to have seen us now go back down below 63,000 points. Taking a look at what are the main indices to have actually brought us down today, the financials going down nearly 2/3%. That means the banking counters have followed that trend as well, 0.5% weaker today, and those will certainly languish in some of the red indices and stocks that we'll see a little bit later on. Just now, resources going up 0.8% despite gold miners having weakened 0.5% there, but it's because of those platinum miners which have certainly pushed along more than 1%. Certainly is how the markets have certainly tried to pick themselves up on that front. The likes of Imperial also going down today, unfortunately. Alexander Forbes, City Lodge also getting a bit of a hammering. City Lodge going down more than 6%, so a big fallout on that front, unfortunately there. The likes of Fortress, though, are the big gainers today. Not really too much to write home about when it comes to that gains today. Life Healthcare going up 2.8% following, of course, that trading statement out of yesterday. Things looking slightly better than they thought it certainly would. Adcock also 2.5% higher as well in that trading picture. So very interesting that it's a whole mix of industries that have gone into some negative territory today. Even the industrials across the board are on 0.5% weaker, in fact, in this trading picture. 85,355 points. A key aspect of that has obviously been Naspers, as that stock has continued to climb really more than R1 trillion company, of course, when it comes to Naspers. A whole lot of that is because of Tencent out in Asia as well. That company indeed helping the likes of Naspers and even Prosus, which does hold its international assets, Naspers' international assets, and the impact that has had. Naspers has said that they're trying to find a way to reduce their significance on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange there. The CEO, Bob van Dijk, saying that they're trying to find some sort of way to try and get things going there with regards to reducing the impact that they've had. They've even split up Naspers into Prosus, and they're thinking of perhaps incurring that similar process again, and maybe, who knows, things could certainly change up with how much they have with regards to Naspers in people's portfolios. Let's quickly get into the local currency then. 0.25% stronger is the local currency against the greenback. We're at 15 Rand and 22 cents then against the US dollar. Some strength across the main currencies as well. The euro will set you back 18 Rand and 42 cents, and if you have 20 Rand and 80 cents, it could get you a British pound at these current levels. So, as I said, slight strength across the board on that one. Only marginal gains for Bitcoin, considering where we've seen it. It's at 31,403 odd US dollars there. Brent crude oil is a pretty much flat stance today, still just below that $55 a barrel mark then. Some gains on that front. But again, key elements to this discussion will be demand. Where exactly does the likes of China, who of course consume quite a bit when it comes to oil, where do they sit when it comes to consumption and opening up of that economy? Of course, England clamping down on travel to that part of the world then. It does mean then that the demand concerns will certainly play into this Brent crude oil price. If there's less demand, the price is bound to go a little bit lower. For now, pretty much flat, just below $56 a barrel there. some weakness as well then for platinum and gold. Still, not too much to write home about there as well. Gerbrand Smith then from NEF joins us then on the line as we unpack this market picture a little bit more. Gerbrand, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it here this afternoon. General market sentiment this year has seemingly gone towards either vaccines or stimulus. Is that going to be the picture at least for the first quarter of the year?
No, look, I think that's probably been done now. So we must now see if the vaccines are actually bearing some fruit and getting the results. And I think that will probably drive markets over time. I think, as you said, the oil price, for instance, if vaccines are starting to work, we'll probably see people picking up productivity and driving around more, and tourism being a bit of a beneficiary on that front as well. So I think vaccines need to work. We've done now with the American presidents and stimulus and so forth.
Yeah. Where would you say the value sort of lies, though, at this point then, Gerbrand? I mean, the tech counters have done their job, right, for the longest time as well. And certainly 2020 was really based on them. Yes, you're seeing the likes of Tencent edge even higher in recent trade, pushing the likes of Naspers up as well. But is that where the value is going into 2021?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a bit of a SA Inc. reversal if we're talking South African shares. Then you're seeing the likes of some of our retailers benefiting from stay-at-home, like Italpal reporting today. We had Cashbuild the other day with its revenue coming out, etc. So I think there's lots of undervalued shares, especially in South Africa. If you go to offshore markets, there's a big theme for the year. The guys are saying it's the FANG stocks are done, and maybe it's time for the beach shares. So the people are talking of the neglected tourism sector, etc. But let's see how that plays out. But on the local front, we got very cheap financial shares. We got very cheap retailer shares, etc. That might benefit from any kind of rebound in economic activity locally.
Yeah. Just perhaps a side question as well then. How much impact would something like the spectrum sale actually have on companies like MTN and Vodacom? A ruling by ICASA is that both MTN and Vodacom are not allowed to participate in the 5G auction at the early stage, and then later on they'd be able to go into that auction. MTN filing a suit and actually suing ICASA and saying that you're actually creating an irrational auction process here, and you're not allowing the likes of MTN to actually have a say, which means that they may not get a whole lot a little bit later on. If they're unable to jump on the bandwagon of 5G and the likes for MTN and even Vodacom, do you think that hurts the business a whole lot?
No, I think it will probably hurt South Africa as a whole as well. These are the leaders in the market. They need to invest into 5G for it to be a sustainable business long-term wise. And if you don't put in those investments, you're probably not going to have cheaper data prices over time. And we need cheaper data prices over time, and everybody needs data for schooling, etc., especially in times like we have at the moment at schools. So I would hope that the big players can take part in that. I know they might have a bit of a competitive advantage in size, but you need to have lots of investment. It's just not viable for some of the smaller players to actually invest and have lower data price.
Certainly is true. All right, Gerbrand, we're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately. Thank you so much for the time, though, here this afternoon on Point. We appreciate it. We'll certainly chat to you a little bit as the year goes on, of course. Gerbrand Smith from NEF here joining us.